Welcome to another week of the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report with Otis Kirk. I'm Wilmo Claire. Otis, we've got a big week ahead of us. Obviously, the regular season
Yeah.
in the books, but we're going to have, I think you wrote an article on it. This is going to be a big week for transfers, a big week for the portal. There's one kid that we're hearing about already, wide receiver. What are you hearing on that front?
Andrew Armstrong. In fact, I just talked to him. I talked to him before we went on the air, actually, and I asked him, "Have you set a visit to Arkansas?" Here's a kid from Texas A&M Commerce. He's 6'6", 189, wide receiver. And I asked him, "Have you set a visit to Arkansas?" And he said, "Not yet." What his family and he's sitting down with his family, evaluating everything, going through all the options. He had 17 offers. He went in the portal and he had 17 offers in like less than a week. So including one from the Hogs. And so, so right now they're evaluating everything, but he will be making a decision. And he's got 3 dates here to visit December, if he opts to do that. And they'll start next weekend. We're going to talk about that down the road. He had 62 receptions for 1,020 yards and 13 touchdowns at Texas A&M Commerce. He's got Missouri, Purdue, Wisconsin's. I mean, Louisville, just a bunch of schools have offered him. He had, like I said, he got 17 offers right after he went into the portal. He played at Dallas Bishop Dunn High School, and so he's a Dallas area prospect, came out of high school. He's one of the kids that slipped through the cracks in recruiting for whatever reason. And, be 6'6", 189, and you can't coach that. And he had a big season. He had a 96-yard reception for Texas A&M Commerce. I think they're the Lions, but I may be mistaken on that. But anyway, he had a 96-yard reception for them, and just 13 touchdowns. So he's a good player, and Arkansas needs receivers. You know Pittman, he loves tall receivers. You saw Matt Landers. You've seen Trey Knox. I know Trey moved to tight end, but Sam is big on the tall. Well, I mean, I think all coaches are. I don't know if I should say Sam any more probably than any other coach. They all love tall guys. I mean, like they had Marcus Monk back when Houston was here. So I mean, they love tall receivers. Coaches do. It's a mismatch because most defensive backs are not close to 6'6", and so it's a mismatch if you win that jump ball. And so yeah, but so Arkansas definitely like to get Andrew Armstrong, but right now he has not set a visit. Like I said, that's 20 minutes old news. I mean, I just talked to him before we went on the air, because I thought he might have said something. I haven't seen anything on it, but he said no. But it's a family. He's going to talk to as he should. He's going to talk to his family, and they're going to decide what to do, Will. And, he'll take some visits. And Sam's been pretty good. Kenny Guyton, and those guys have been pretty good. Kenny got out and got Jaden Hazelwood. Now, I mean, I know Jimmy Smith played a big role in that because he had ties from his high school. But I'm just saying, Kenny Guyton and them have been, and Sam and that staff have been good, Kendall. All of them about getting transfers. They got Jaden Hazelwood and Matt Landers last year. So, and those were the two top receivers on the team, statistics wise, this season. So, they've shown a tendency. They not only do they go get them, they've shown a tendency they will play them. If they're the best players, they'll play them. So Andrew Armstrong has 2 years left. If he can look at Arkansas and know that if he comes here and he earns it, he will be the player. He'll get the ball. Whether it's KJ Malachi or Malik, whoever throwing the ball, he'll get the ball here at Arkansas. And so, I think Arkansas will, definitely be. They're in the mix for him. They offered Wisconsin, came in there and offered. That looks like they're getting a new coach. Looks like they're getting a coach from Cincinnati. Everything's speculated. I know it's not a Bearcat program, but Arkansas played Cincinnati this year. Although I was in a coma at the time, but they played Cincinnati, and everything pointed to the interim coach at Wisconsin getting the job. But it's broke that Luke Fickell's probably going to be the new coach at Wisconsin. So that's kind of a odd deal. And so, but anyway, Arkansas fans are familiar with him from the first of the season.
Yeah. Did you have a conversation with him about, how much success transfer wide receivers have had this year at Arkansas and how he might
No,
fit
I
into
did
that?
not. No, because I was running. I had a phone call about the time I was talking to him. I had another reporter, a friend of mine, calling me wanting to ask some questions about Jamil. And so I was talking to him. We were just exchanging texts. And so then I got on the phone with the reporter. By the time I got off, I'd go here. So I didn't really, it wasn't really an interview. I just wanted to do a quick, because I knew we were talking about Andrew today. I sent you the list, and I wanted to just make sure that he didn't have something said that he hadn't tweeted out or hadn't been out there, because I haven't seen anything. I know he hasn't put on his Twitter anything about visits. He put about the Arkansas offer. And I just told him good luck on your decision. I'll be talking to you. I didn't go into all the success or anything, but when I interview him, I will about certainly about Landers, Hazelwood. Yeah, it's obvious that those guys had a lot of success here at Arkansas, and I know Sam talked about trying to get Hazelwood back the other day to come
Mm-hmm.
back for another year. I don't know if he will or not. That's some stuff we'll find out this week, and we're going to talk about that later in this segment. But stuff like Hazelwood coming back, it's not all doom and gloom and people leaving. We're going to talk about maybe some of the kids coming back as well, making a decision like Bumper Pool did last year,
Yeah, an exciting time
and
for the fans either way.
Dalton Wagner.
I said it's an exciting time for the fans either way.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the deal.
There's a lot of ways
Some
you can
fans
look at
have
it.
got, huh?
I said there's a lot of ways you can look at it. You can look at
Well,
it from
that's
the
the
glass
thing,
half
and that's
full.
what I was getting ready to say. There's ways to look at it. One thing fans have got to realize: they freak out when kids go into poorly. Start rumors that Pittman's lost the the locker room. Look, this is different times. You got to think more in the NFL mode than you do back when, say, Houston Nutt or Danny Ford or Bobby Trino were here, where you might have two or three kids leave at the end of the year. This is a different time and age, man. There's, 20%, 20% of the kids that started at the FBS schools this year were transferred from other schools. I'm not talking about Arkansas. I'm talking about countrywide FBS. 20% of the kids that started were at transfers. And here's another thing about going into portal that you've got to understand. 39% of the kids that went in the portal last year from FBS schools didn't get an FBS offer once they got in there. So you've got to be careful with all that, because you need to know what you're doing before you go in there and not just think, because grass isn't always greener on the other side, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is an easy transition into the portal window talk that you wanted to have.
Yeah,
What are you feeling there?
well, James Joyner went in there the other day and announced he's going in the portal. Miles Slusher tweeted out today before I came on the air, but we had a story Friday about that. We knew earlier in the week he had left. Knew Thursday anyway. I'm not gonna say I knew earlier than that. I knew Thursday, but I didn't write anything until I confirmed Friday. But with that said, people can announce or enter. December 5th is when the transfer portal opens. Now, if if you've already graduated, you've already graduated, grad transfer, you can go in the portal anytime you want to. But otherwise, it opens December the 5th. They got a time window on it this year, which thank God for that. It opens December the 5th, and this window will close on January the 18th, I
Yeah.
believe. January the 18th is when it closes. Then in May, on May the 1st, this is after spring ball, they'll have May the 1st to May the 15th. They'll have a 2-week window then for kids that stayed, but then it didn't go like they wanted in the spring or whatever, maybe, and so they'll have a 2-week window there to jump the portal too. So it's 2 periods here, and that you're going to see a lot of activity. And people just need to understand it's nothing to do with losing the locker room. You'll have some disgruntled kids leave, but I mean, not everybody leaves is disgruntled. I mean, look at Drew Sanders. I don't think he was disgruntled with
No, I don't
Saban.
think
It
he
wasn't like
was.
Saban lost the locker room. Drew wanted to play linebacker. He was playing the edge down there. Look at his size. Drew is much more NFL material at linebacker than he is edge. I'm not saying he couldn't play an NFL edge, but you look at the kid, but he was smart. He wanted to play linebacker, and that's what happens. And you've got some kids that's buried on the depth chart, and they look at the situation. They think, I'm not going to be able to play here, so they go into portal. It's not that they're disgruntled; they want to play. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons, as you said earlier. There's different aspects and different ways to look at all this stuff, but just freaking out and going crazy. Look, let me tell you this: Arkansas fans, a lot of them freaked out last year. Joe Fauché, Greg Brooks, and went into the portal. Vito Calvaruso went in. But look, Arkansas brought in much better players. I'm talking about as a group,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a knock at Joe and Greg. as a group, Arkansas brought in much better players than what went out as a whole. I'm talking about all the ones they brought in versus all the ones that they lost. And I have no doubt Sam and his staff will do the same thing this year. It just that's the way it works. You lose. I always say the portal taketh and it giveth, and you've got to understand that. And if you don't, you're going to get yourself worked up over nothing because it's going to happen. And as long as they got that transfer portal like it is, it's going to be this way. Kids, it's just too easy for a kid not to. You look at James Joyner. He's buried on the depth chart. In the past, James would probably have to stay and eventually hope he gets to play. Now he looks at Rockets got to come back another year. If you look at AJ, you look at Rashad,
Yeah.
so you just look at that situation now. Miles Slusher's a different situation. He left, he was unhappy, and I mean we all know the situation there. I mean what happened with the arrest, and we can comment on that all we want, but nothing changes it. And
Do you think that
it was
had a lot to do with
mishandled.
it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean there was. I will say this, and I probably shouldn't, but the police report made it sound a lot worse than it was.
Oh
And
yeah.
and when you see the video of Miles and Anthony Brown, an officer, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I get the segment, the police don't get it, you don't get it, listen doesn't get it. This is my 2 cents. So I think the officer was out of line the way he handled the situation. But with that said, and I think he could have been handled a lot different. He lost he mishandled the situation. I'm talking about the officer. But sometimes if you're representing the University of Arkansas, which you are, if you're on scholarship, you're a player.
Yep.
Sometimes you see that situation at 2 a.m. You see it happening. Maybe it's best to just walk away, just leave, go home. I mean, doesn't I'm not excusing anyone. I'm not
No, I
pointing
know
a
what you're
finger at
saying here.
anyone. Yeah, I'm just saying sometimes, you just better off to get out of the situation and not be put in that situation to start with. It could have been handled a lot better by the policeman. I'll be the first to say that. And
Yeah,
the
I mean,
police
Otis, it's the
report made
same
it
reason why
sound a
you and
lot
I
worse.
can't go to Starbucks and curse out the barista because on the off chance that somebody knows us,
Yeah,
you just got to know your surroundings.
yeah. It's sometimes it's better to walk away from a situation. And I'm not saying not even point getting mad at Miles or Anthony for not, but I'm just saying as a person in that situation, sometimes it's better to just walk away. And but because the officer, in my opinion, mishandled that big time. I mean, he Ant probably wasn't 2 steps off the sidewalk. When he comes back around.
Yeah,
But with that
no,
said, maybe you're better off to just walk away from that situation. Once you react and put your hands on a police or so it's nothing good's gonna come out of it, man. And it's not. I'm not saying you were wrong. I'm just saying nothing good's gonna come out of it, and it leads to a situation, man. So and look, man. When I was their age, I did all kinds of stuff. You'll never hear me get on there and rip these kids for getting in trouble. I mean, I would I've lived that experience. I wasn't a Razorback football player. Probably nobody cared that I did it other than my parents. But I mean, I'm just saying,
yeah,
But so I'm not ever going to. Well, I won't say never, but most of the time I'm not going to be critical of players, and I'm not critical of Miles and Ant. I'm just wishing they had just walked away from the situation. Is what I'm saying, and that's just me wishing that for their sake.
yeah. Otis, before we move on to something a little happier, do you think that they felt that they shouldn't have been suspended at all, or do you
I
think that
think
they
so.
wish
I
that
think
the
Miles was
after the
up a
video
bit.
came out that things were handled a little differently?
Yeah, I think Miles probably wishes it'd been handled a little bit different. I hate to speak for Miles because I haven't talked to him
No, and I
about
don't think
that,
you are.
but I'm just from the outside looking in, and my job to cover the team, like I said, I think I think yeah, I think they felt probably the suspension was a little harsh, and maybe it was. I don't know, but like I said, I don't know that when you put yourself in that situation and you're arrested, whether regardless of you know sometimes you're just the coach has got his hands tied and maybe he has to suspend you. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a bad situation.
it's a bad
Whereas
situation
maybe
all
it
around.
goes
I'm
back
in
to
the
what I
camp
just
of I feel like you have to suspend him for at least one game, no matter what the story is.
yeah. See, and that's the thing. Well, that's where I'm coming from. That goes back to what I just said, though. If you walk away from that situation, then you don't put yourself in the situation of being arrested. You don't put yourself in the situation of the coach coming down on you, and it just it saves you. It doesn't
Yeah.
save Pittman. It doesn't save you. It doesn't save me. That's why I said that, and that's why I wish they had done, but they didn't. They and look, like I said, I'm not passing judgment on anybody. I mean, I said the cop was harsh. I thought he was, or out of
Yeah.
line, or mishandled it. I don't know. I'm not going to say he's out of line, but I'm not a policeman. But I think he mishandled it. It could have been. Let me put it this way: the policeman could have handled it much better than he did. Let me just put it at that.
Yeah. All right, let's get into those who took official visits recently. We've got quarterback Malachi Singleton, tight end Jaden Ham, and O-lineman Joey Suway. What are we hearing on those?
They'll be here this weekend for official visit. Joey's got the state championship game Friday night, so I'm assuming he's going to come in here Saturday. That or he'll have to reschedule. But I'm assuming he'll be in here this weekend after the game. They play Bryant Friday night, man.
That's gonna be a game.
Bryant just keeps getting that state
be...
championship game. You got the TJ Lindsey kid that played defensive end for Bryant that Arkansas's offered, and they're all over. Yeah, it's gonna be a great game, man. Bentonville not just has Joy, but they got CJ Brown. If anybody didn't read my story, that kid had 8 catches for 209 yards and 4 touchdowns last weekend against North Little Rock. And I wrote a story on Pig Trail Nation, Hogville recruiting story on CJ Brown this week. But he's just class of 2024. So he's got Purdue and Colorado State offers. I'm almost, I'm doing this off the top of my head because we were talking about, but Joey is the big lineman. All 3 of the kids you named, Joey, Malachi, and Jaden Ham are all committed to Arkansas. Jaden Ham is a kid I went to see in Eudora, Kansas, before the season started. John James and I went up there to see him. We went to Eudora and interviewed Jaden, and great kid. I'll tell you what, when he walks in the room, you see a football player. The first time I saw him in person, I believe the first time I saw him in person was at the April 16th scrimmage game they had. It was going to be outside, and then Sam moved it inside because of the weather in the Walker Pavilion. And I saw Jaden Ham, the Rashada kid, the 5-star quarterback was here, and Luke Hayes. They walked by, and I'm thinking, God, who is that one kid? It was Jaden Ham. He's a big kid. I mean, in fact, John's been with me, our photographer at Hogville's been with me on these trips. He said the kid that best looking physical specimen he's seen is Jaden Ham of all the kids we've gone to see. So he's a big kid, and fans will love him. He's a good player. I tell you about Jaden Ham, he's like a lot of these other kids. Like we talked about Micah Tees and a lot of kids. He could be defensive end if he wanted to be. But he's going to play tight end. 4-star tight end. Malachi's a 4-star quarterback. Joey, for some reason, is a 3-star offensive lineman. And I'm going to tell you, that is one of the worst rankings I've ever seen in this state. Drew Morgan was a 2-star. Two-star. I thought that was bad, but seeing Joey a 3-star kid, I've had high school coaches that have coached against him that have been in the state for a while tell me he's the best offensive lineman they've gone against. They're amazed that he's not rated higher. He is a stud. But
that's a superlative.
Malachi Singleton is probably the most important recruit in this class. I think he's going to, I'm pretty sure he's sticking with Arkansas. UCF has tried to get him, but he'll be here next weekend. And then, like I said, Ham is committed early and been to most of the games. And so it's going to be interesting to, and they may, right now, that's the 3 that I have coming in next weekend. They may add, like I said, I'm assuming Joey is just going to come on Saturday, because he does have a game Friday night down in Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium. And wish him good luck. Wish Lindsey and wish all those kids good luck on both teams, and not taking sides. But I hope all the kids have a great game and the best team wins, whoever that is. Yeah, but it should be a good one.
It'll be exciting to see how high school football shakes out in Northwest Arkansas. But it's also really exciting, Otis. All season, I've heard Vegas, I've heard Oh my God. The Liberty Bowl.
Well, Liberty, yeah. I'd heard a lot about the Gator Bowl before the game, but with the laws, don't know that they will. I think Gator is out. That was in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm going to tell you, the Liberty Bowl would love to have Arkansas. It's 6-6. It doesn't matter. The Liberty Bowl would love to have Arkansas. They were here for the Liberty game. I believe it was the
Yeah.
Liberty game. If it wasn't, it was LSU, but I'm going to say it was the Liberty game. They were at the game Friday against Missouri. And look, what Memphis looks at, what the Liberty Bowl looks at, all those Eastern Arkansas fans. There was no Little Rock game this year. So a lot of those fans, if they saw Arkansas play, may have been once or twice. Now, I know some of them probably came to every game, but there's a lot of them didn't do that or can't do that, simply because of economics. And so,
yeah, I mean, it's 8 hours both ways.
Have that game. Yeah, Memphis, Arkansas would feel that, they do it every time. And Arkansas they have a great turnout, Arkansas does. That both Music City, maybe, I think they're probably on the outside looking in there. That's fine. I'd rather, Texas Bowl is a possibility, and I think the Vegas Bowl probably is still a possibility, although they might go a different direction. But I know one thing: they're going to go to a bowl, and I really believe it will be. I think it'll be Liberty, Vegas, or Houston Bowl, Texas Bowl down in Houston. I think it'll be one of those three. Music City maybe, but I don't. I think probably that's the longest shot of the four.
Yeah, I can't remember who I heard it from, but I heard that a bunch of Liberty representatives were at one of these games, and there were pamphlets all over the press box. We'll see where that ends up. I think the Liberty Bowl is probably the most likely at this point if I had to put betting odds on it.
Yeah.
You're going to pull out the pamphlet. It's like, oh, you mean this one?
Bowl, this is
what there it is.
There it is. Mean, the Liberty Bowl, yeah, I've still got it because I like the Liberty Bowl. I know a lot of fans don't want to go there. They think it's not a great bowl. I've had a great time every time I've ever been to Liberty Bowl. I think it's a good bowl.
Yeah.
It's not the Outback Bowl or the Cotton Bowl or something. I mean, it's not that. But if you're 6-6, you're not going to Outback Bowl. You're not going to Cotton Bowl. But that don't mean it's a bad bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to it. The hospitality is good. They're very
That's what I've heard.
People. And it's, it's a first class, but they run it first class, man. I mean, the last time I was there was for the Kansas State game when Brett was here and Arkansas beat them. I think I know Arkansas finished 8-5 that season. They beat Kansas State in the bowl game. We went out and had some good barbecue the night before the game or the day before the game and, went to the game and had a good time. I mean, it was fun and it's a reasonable drive. And plus, like I said, I don't care where they go. I'm going to be there. But for a lot of fans in Eastern Arkansas and Central Arkansas that simply couldn't come to Arkansas, they have 6 home games or 7, whatever they had, they couldn't make it every game. So this is a chance for them to drive and not have to spend $1 million going to the game. A lot of them can go to the Liberty Bowl, go to the game, after the game, go home. They don't have to spend a hotel and stuff. And so there's nothing wrong with the Liberty Bowl. And if that's where they end up, I got a sneaky feeling it's probably, since they lost to Missouri, I think that's where they end up. I think if they'd have beaten Missouri at 7-5, I don't think they'd ended up in the Liberty Bowl. But I think that's where they end up. If not, I have heard the Texas Bowl looking at, would love an Arkansas-Oklahoma matchup.
Oh, no.
That could be interesting. That could be interesting. Not really wanting to go to Houston, but if they did, and that's the matchup. But then again, Arkansas's got
a lot of 10 hours? 8 hours in a car?
Yeah, it's a pretty good little drive, man. I didn't go. The guy that worked with me, I sent him to the last one when they played Texas. But I mean, I've been to Houston, but it's been more,
I've never been.
Yeah, I've been there. It's a pretty good little drive, but it's not a terrible drive. I mean, most places in Texas is pretty easy to get to. I mean, it's not short drive.
Yep, to see Buc-ee's.
San Antonio. I've driven to San Antonio 3 or 4 times to the All-American game. But anyway, wherever they go, but I think the Liberty Bowl would be good in the sense that a lot of fans that are close to Memphis can go to that game and then, and kind of reward for not having a game in Little Rock this season, and it's handy to them, you know. So, I know not everybody goes to the games, gets their food and hotel and travel expenses reimbursed. I get that. So that's why I look out for the fans. I've been there, man. I've been there on the other end where it comes out of your own pocket. And I think if they go to the Liberty Bowl, it'll be a nice reward for a lot of fans to be able to go see them play.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And this is maybe
Mhm.
just me saying something selfish, but I'm hoping for a warm one. Otis, we're going to ramp things up here, and don't forget to check
You
back
bet.
next week for your Arkansas football recruiting report.
Everybody have a great week, man. Appreciate you.